So the reason that we put this website together was to show our journey, which we're going to keep doing over, the months and years to come as we sift through all of our thousands of hours of videos. But the number one reason is to get you back playing fast as possible, to not fall into the traps that people fall into, to not waste time, to get the process right. So it's all based on the belief system, and most people that we find come in battered. The life is over. I can't play my instrument anymore. I'm really struggling. The stress, the loss, everything, it's horrendous. We understand that. So the belief system is battered, but your body's not broken. So let's think about that. The body's fully functional, but the brain has a degree of PTSD, really. It can be considered PTSD. So how do we fix that? We have to change the mindset. So each recovery session that you do, we've got to have belief that we can actually do this. And this is the biggest hurdle that we struggle with to get people on track and really fast. So terrified of the errors, so reluctant to even attempt, to even think about trying to play because the body's been rejecting your intention. So Jules said, it's fantastic, she goes, you've got to really set your intention, and we really have to. Now the intention is, the first thing you can do is hear our words. Your body's not broken. The messaging process is not broken. You've developed some bad habits, sometimes some extremely bad habits, and saying bad habits can really offend some people sometimes, and there's absolutely no offense intended. But our default is not providing the results that we want. We've got an idea, we've got a visualization, we've got a thought, we know what we want to achieve, and we can't achieve it. That means somewhere in the process, something's getting lost, something's getting blocked, derailed, off track. So what's happening? Where's it going on? But if we don't believe that we can actually fix it, how do we change the brain? We have to get the brain into a learning state, and that's preparing you to come in to your recovery session with the intention of achieving something, creating a new habit to override an error. So we need to know what the primary error is. If in the process of going to pick up a drumstick or a guitar or a violin, a trumpet, whatever the case may be, what's the first error? Is it your thought process? Is it fear? Is it the shadow? Is it the, I don't know what's going to happen, something might happen, I want to run away? Is it that negative thought? That means we haven't hit stillness yet. But if we're in stillness and then it's time to move, where do things go wrong? Now the brain learns, please hear these words, the brain learns by the feeling. When it becomes time to create a new habit, we need to show the brain two viable options, what we do want and what we don't want. What you do want has a feeling attached to it. The error that's been embedded for whatever reason has a feeling, and it'll be a different feeling to the feeling that you want. So we need to explore those different feelings, and we need to be courageous and look for the error. And sometimes the tremors can be violent, and I understand that. Where does it start? Is it the thought of moving the arm? Is it moving the arm? Is it the thought of putting the fingers on the piano? Is it what? Where? Is it the arms are here, cool, 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 not cool? Cool, cool, not cool. Where's the primary error? So we need to find that with the eyes closed, and we need to attach the feeling to this. So we need to understand that this process works. So in order to create, Julie's talking about an environment and a headspace. We need to understand that we consciously are completely in control of what the subconscious brain does. Consciously, we control the brain. Brian, we're going to fix up Brian. You're not doing what we want you to, but he wants to. Don't forget that brain is trying to protect you. Okay? So it's just confused. Because for whatever reasons in the past, things have led to the fact that you've developed this condition, but now you want to play again. Now you know that you don't have to have these habits jump in, this new default, unwanted default. So with a change in mindset, we fix it. That's how we fix up Brian. Okay. So walking in here, you're not performing. As Jules says, we can flip into performer mode. We don't want to do that. There's a lot of ego attached to performing. It's part of who we are. And if we feel like we've lost our identity, and identifying yourself by your playing can be problematic. Okay. It's what we do, it's not who we are. And that's pretty important. So if we recognize that something's changed, we've had a loss, we go, right, I'm not doing that anymore. I've accepted the fact that things have gone sour, but now I'm going to turn it around. And that's what Julie and I are doing here at Fubri, and we're turning that Titanic around. So we've got to understand that we've lost confidence, we don't have belief. So we've got to understand, we've got to believe that we can actually change. And so setting the environment when we come in here is, I am going to make a change. This is how it works. I know the brain learns by feeling. I'm confident in my ability to be able to do that. I know what my first error is, and I'm going to work on that, right? Now, you may or may not be able to pick the first error, and that's what we're here for, is to help you find at what point does confidence turn into doubt? Does belief turn into fear? That's what we're looking for. Then we get our messaging correct from our conscious mind to our subconscious brain, and we make the changes based on the feeling. Okay, now I've got a little piece of paper here that I watched Julie's video, and it's fantastic, and I just want to refer to a couple of things. So she says, forget the sound. Absolutely. You can't be focused on, if you're playing an instrument, on the sound. That turns us into performer mode. And there's a bit of ego involved, and we're trying to impress someone. That's not the brain in a learning, changing state. It's a feeling. What we're aiming to do is, even if we're just playing gobbledygook on any instrument, doesn't matter what notes, doesn't matter the tone, if we're doing it dystonia free, that's the first step. Then we can refine to get the accuracy and everything. And it's going to feel different to the way that you played previously. Okay. So we need to just forget about the sound and the technique. That will come. It's literally the feeling of not having any tremors anywhere in the entire body, and being able to execute on the instrument, even with a little grin, a little bit of joy, a bit of happiness, a bit of dopamine. Yep, I'm going to be able to, I'm back. I'm so back. I'm going to slowly introduce the techniques, and it's going to be better than ever. But look, I'm holding my instrument. There's no fear, there's no doubt, there's no woe is me, there's no loss. It's like a rebuild, and it's really exciting, right? So if I can get you into that mindset before you come into a coaching session, then it's like, okay, I know that I'm either going to have a progress day or a consolidation day or one of those hellish learning days where everything is just awful, but that's where we learn the most. So don't be afraid of the learning day where it feels like you got to give up, because that's where you do the most learning. Then you come back and you have progress, consolidate, learn. Progress, consolidate, learn. Progress, and you're on your way again. Accept that as the learning process, and we are on our way. Now, Jules said sacred. It is a sacred practice area. Without getting religious, it's just a really special place. So we need to have the right mindset when we come in here, and we don't want polluted thoughts. That's not stillness, okay? We want confidence with anything like that. Take a break, absolutely. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour a day. If you get overwhelmed and things, you just feel like you're pushing against the brick wall, just stop, clear the mind, then come back and go, I know. We don't want to try and do too many things. That's why Julie says the brain starts to notice all these different reactions. What's the first one in our timeline from where we are now to playing our instrument beautifully, presenting a talking presentation or whatever? Where are we now? What does the goal look like? What's the first thing that derails us? Where do we get off track? That's your primary error. That's what we need to find. Refresh your spirit. What a nice way of putting it. Plan your session. What's your primary error? So guys, if I can really get you to understand and accept, you can do this. You're in control of what you want consciously. And we do it with the drills. And ultimately, we do the repetitions and it happens on its own. You don't have to think about it consciously. I call that RAM, conscious thought. We don't want to be thinking, using up RAM. We want to save the RAM for playing in the band, or telling a gag to the audience or whatever, enjoying the environment, not thinking about the techniques involved. Okay, so we work on the drill the feeling that we want. We test to find out where the error is. We overcome that error. We're aware of peripheral errors, the other ones that we'll work on later. But for now, we're working on one error and the brain will change. When it changes and you get what you want, you repeat, you repeat, you repeat. That's the whole learning loop process. And what you want has a feeling to it. And I promise you, when you're back playing, it's going to feel different to what you did in the past. If you're public speaking, you're going to get up and you're going to have a feel of excitement because you're presenting something that you've got confidence in, not fear-based. Okay? So please be sure that when you're coming into a recovery session, you're very clear on your intent, the processes that you're going to undertake, and work on them with a positive mindset. And just know that you can achieve what you want with the right focus, with the brain in a learning state, and awareness that you're in control and you can do it. So it's very important to have a healthy learning mindset and do it in this sacred space with no polluted thoughts. All right, if I can get you to absolutely embrace this concept now, it is pivotal for your entire recovery process. Healthy playing and learning mindset.